You are welcome to Employment Law class. Today we look at Section 5 of Unit 1, Purpose of Employment Law. Session Objectives. By the end of this session, you should be able to identify the purposes of employment law and explain those purposes of employment law. The purpose of employment law as follows: to ensure fair wages and hours, to ensure equality in the workplace, to ensure workplace safety, to ensure family-friendly workplace. Let's now explain this point in details. Employment law seeks to ensure that employees are paid well. The wages or salary given to them commensurate with the work that they have done. So most of the times in every country we have the minimum wage. In all circumstances, you don't have to pay below the minimum wage. In Ghana, for instance, as at 2023, the minimum wage is 14.88 Ghana cedis. It means that no employer should pay an employee below that amount. However, the employer can pay the employee more than that figure. Also, the working hours of the employee must also be fair. The law or the employment law seeks to state the number of hours that an employee should work in a day or in a week. If the employer exceeds the number of working hours, then the employer should pay the employee overtime. For instance, if the employer works for 40 hours a week, any extra hours that the employee, if the employee works for 40 hours a week, any extra hours that the employee will work should attract payment of overtime. Now, you should also note that the employee has a constitutional right under Article Employee has a constitutional right under Article 24 Clause 2 of the 1990 Constitution to enjoy leisure hours or break during the course of the work, and he's also entitled to holidays, and those holidays should come with payment. So the hours for work has been set by law, and the employee has the right to enjoy leisure or to go for break when the time is due. The employer has no duty to take away all this from the employee. Now let's move to equality in the workplace. Employment law seeks to ensure that people work in a bias-free environment. It ensures that people are not discriminated. Article 17(2), Article 17 Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution prohibits any form of discrimination either by sex, religion, gender, or any form. Article 17 prohibits that. Then if you move to Article 24 Clause 1, it provides that every person shall be entitled to equal pay for work done without distinction. Now, provided the person qualified to perform the work, you should not discriminate against that person. So employment law ensure that there's equality in the workplace. No one is at disadvantage. It also prohibits the issues of sexual harassment. Now, Employment law also seeks to ensure workplace safety. Looking at the same Article 24 clause 1 of the 1902 Constitution, it tells us that every worker has a right to work under satisfactory conditions at a workplace. As an employee of the company, you have the right to enjoy a safe working place. It is therefore the duty of the employer to ensure that the working place or the working condition at the workplace is good for the health of the people. So, employment law imposes duty on the employer to ensure that the workplace is safe for the work. It also ensures family-friendly workplace. Here, even though the employee works for the employer should respect the time that the employee have for the family. The employer should not necessarily interfere with the relationship between the family of the employee. In this regard, when an employee needs time to take his or her family member to the hospital for medical treatment, the employer is under duty not to prevent the employee from attending such duty. So it will ensure that there's a friendly or a family-friendly workplace in the workplace. And in all this, it gives or it motivates the employee to work well, because if the employee also understand that, look, when it was time for him to or her to attend to his family or her family member in relation to issues of medical, the employer gave him or her the chance to do so, then the employee will feel that, look, his or her employer thinks about the employer himself or herself, as well as the family of the employee. So all this serves as a form of what? Motivation for the employee to work. And this will end up in increasing the productivity of the company. In this session, we attempted to identify and explain the purposes of or the need for employment law in organization and the country at large. Thank you and have a wonderful day.